All right, back on the Manny Muñoz Show, and we now have the opportunity to talk a little politics and policy as we bring in South Florida Congresswoman María Elvira Salazar. She's a Republican from District 27. You can follow her on Twitter at Rep. Maria Salazar. Congresswoman, thanks so much for the time.
Of course. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, I want to talk to you about some important issues, the ones you're trying to tackle there on Capitol Hill. But I have to ask you first about the Speaker's decision to allow this impeachment inquiry of President Biden moving forward without holding a House vote.
Sure. I'm going to tell you why. Because impeachment inquiry doesn't mean impeachment. And that's something that everyone should really understand. We are not impeaching anybody. What we're asking is the inquiry opens the door, the legal door, to subpoena and receive documents that are needed for us to determine if there was fraud. What does the evidence so far say? Number one, that there were 12 shell companies created by the Biden family. Mm-hmm. That there's proof. Number two, that there were $20 million that were transferred to those 20 shell companies. Number three, that Hunter Biden used, according to 2 FBI whistleblowers and 2 IRS whistleblowers, Hunter Biden used his dad at the time, the vice president, to use his image, his liking, his presence, whatever you want to call it, in order for Hunter to receive monies from foreign nationals. Yeah. That you have facts. Now, we want to do two things. We want to get the credit card statements of those 12 shell companies, and we want to get the bank statements of those 20 shell companies. What's wrong with that?
Excellent. No, I hope they find something linking the vice president at the time, Joe Biden, to all of his sons, I think, illegal business practices, or at the very least immoral. Let me talk to you about the important stuff. The big immigration news last week, a federal judge declared DACA illegal. That's the problem that prevents the deportation of hundreds of thousands of immigrants brought here as children. Eventually, the Supreme Court's going to probably decide this program, but obviously an issue very near and dear to your heart as you continue to try and push the Dignity Act.
Yes. And you know, all these are patches. We're going to take care of the DACA, but we're not going to take care of their parents. And we're going to take care of the TPS, but we're not going to take care of the DACA. We need an immigration reform law, which is what I presented in Congress. A complete immigration reform where we take care of the DACA, the TPS, everyone who is an illegal in this country who's been here contributing. I am offering to give them dignity status, not citizenship, to live in a dignified life in the promised land, which is the United States. So, I mean, the court comes, court goes, doesn't matter. The law of the land needs to change, and we need to seal that border and stop the child sex traffickers and stop the fentanyl and everything you know that's happening. It's a mess, and it's embarrassing that a country like ours cannot get together. My colleagues in Congress, we cannot pass. But I'm doing my best. I presented the law, 500 pages. Yeah. May the Lord help us.
Congresswoman, it does seem like there isn't a whole lot of appetite in either party to get this issue resolved.
Yes, it's true. Because on one side there's fear, there's a lack of knowledge. But, you know, I am a brown girl from the hood, Little Havana. And I'm representing the Hispanics. I am denouncing socialism because we know what that means. And I am extending, and I'm saying to the rest of my party and to the Dems, who, you know, the Democrats, they have been promising for years, oh, we're going to do an immigration reform law. Oh, sure. Vote for me. We're going to give you immigration. That is BS. We now, the Republicans, I am stepping up to the plate, and I'm saying this is a beautiful bill, legislation called the Dignity Act. Let's act on it.
We're speaking with South Florida Congresswoman María Elvira Salazar. Has Speaker McCarthy told you that you will get a floor vote on the Dignity Act?
Listen, we are working with both parties because it's not only McCarthy, is that Veronica Escobar, who's a progressive. For those who are listening to me, I work with everybody. Veronica, who I consider now a very good friend, an honorable woman. She's a progressive, she's a liberal, but she's not AOC. She wants to solve the problem. And you know, within her party, they're just not giving her the support that she deserves. How come this good, from El Paso, Texas, legislature, progressive, I'm telling you, very much to the left, like I'm very much center-right. We have worked together because we know that the country has a problem. And so now both parties need to understand that dynamic.
Congresswoman, two more questions for you. I know our time is limited. Something else that you're very interested in doing something about, the Biden administration's foreign policies is questionable around the globe, right? But in our hemisphere here, specifically in Latin America, it doesn't seem like the Biden administration has a foreign policy. And that, in part, has allowed China to take a firm hold in some countries right here in our own hemisphere. You're trying to do something about that. Explain this America's Act to me that you're championing.
Oh, my God, America's Act. Senator, I give credit to those who credit have. Senator Cassidy from Louisiana, he came up, he put together this very important legislation. What does it say? It's simple. You know, we have the gold standard of trade agreements, the USMCA, Mexico, the United States, and Canada. You know what used to be called NAFTA. We have the USMCA. Now, if you are Honduras, Nicaragua, Paraguay, anyone in the hemisphere, and you're behaving well, you're not corrupt, you're playing by the rules, you have democracy, we welcome you to join the free trade agreement between the United States, Canada, and Mexico. Who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
Everyone. So we're offering it to you if you, as a country, just are playing by the rules.
The last thing, Congressman, I have to ask you this because you were a journalist here in Miami for a long time.
Yeah. I miss it. I miss it.
And we miss you. Well, you're doing great work in Washington, though. Why does it seem like corruption runs in the blood of not only the city of Miami, but really South Florida politics? So many scandals, so many scoundrels through the years?
Embarrassing. That's all I'm saying. Embarrassing. Very embarrassing. We should have learned from our parents who fled first-generation, second-generation Cubans. Politics is not to enrich yourself, it's to go and serve others. If you want to enrich yourself, go to the private sector and make money. Hey, we give you the platform to do it. But don't go into public office just to try to scratch a few pennies. Embarrassing. And I denounce it because I am now a public servant and I see how hard it is, but at the same time, how gratifying. How embarrassing to be on the front page of the paper, and the rest of your colleagues see that you are supposed to be serving others and you're serving yourself. Are you out of your mind? It only gives a stain to our community, but you know, there are good people, and I know them, and I'm one of them.
Well said, South Florida Congresswoman María Elvira Salazar. You can follow her on Twitter at Rep. Maria Salazar, Republican District 27. Thank you so much for the time. Be well.
God blesses you. Thanks for the opportunity.